What is going on, everybody? Man, I missed y'all. Welcome to another episode of Whiskey and We. I am your host, Terry, and this is episode 35. Man, I hope you guys have been doing good. It feels like it's been a while. It hasn't been that long, but it feels like it's been a while. It's been a long time for me, especially these last few weeks, which have been dragging for the most part. But I mean, can't even say it's been dragging in a bad way. It's been elongated. Let's just say that. um, I gotta say I am recording. Um, I'm not at home because I'm currently out of the state for work with this new job. So the sound may be a little bit different, but it shouldn't be any audio issues to where you can't hear me, obviously. So apologies in advance if things sound a little bit different and not as vibrant as you're used to hearing me. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing good. I can't even think as far back as to what events or what has been happening. I think July 4th may have been the last one. So I hope whatever you guys did, you had fun and you were safe and you enjoyed it. But so much going on. Like, I hope everyone has been having a good summer. I hope you have been living your best life, enjoying the weather. It has been quite satisfying, I must say. Yeah, it rains here and there, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a person that loves rain every now and then because it just relaxes me. There's nothing wrong with a good night inside, even if it's a Saturday and you're just chilling. But so many changes, so many changes for me this past month. New job. Whew. Yeah. I'm not gonna make any excuses on why I've been very distant and having a hard time trying to organize everything. I'm just gonna say it's a new challenge for me that I'm currently working through and trying to overcome with juggling so many things at once that I'm not used to because I'm used to being very spread out, very, not too much on my plate. And lately I have been dealing with a lot on my plate, but it is all through amazing blessings. So I cannot sit here and complain and say I don't like it. It's keeping me busy, it's keeping me alive, and it's all these, miracles and all these manifestations that's happening. So, yes, that's good. New job, just moved. Man, I love my place. I love my new area. It's nice. It's calm. I'm still very much close to, meeting up with people, doing things. It's just the energy, the ambiance and everything. Like it's all there for me. Like I love it. The view I have on the balcony of the marina. Just yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, I gotta rub it in. I absolutely love it, and I'm truly, truly blessed to have a place like this. The last place was great too. Please believe the last place was great, but transitioning to this place fits a little bit more of my personality and my lifestyle. I mean, I can walk right down the street, literally downstairs, and hit up a brunch spot with $3 mimosas, and it's just really good. So I'm very grateful for that. I ended up going to see family, so I traveled to New Orleans and got to see my mom, got to see my brother, make sure they were doing good in spite of Tropical Storm Barry. So there's been a lot of flooding in New Orleans, but during my weekend there, I didn't see any of it aside from just the raining still. But got to go out, got to celebrate with my homegirl, went to the French Quarters, got to soak that in. Man, I love my city, but I forgot how trashy, like garbage infested, the French Quarters and Bourbon Street can get. And ugh, man, I thought New York was bad. It's just that strip alone. If you guys have been to New Orleans and Bourbon Street, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, got down there, took my mom, my brother out, had to get some New Orleans food right away, and then it was just a turn up from there. So it was definitely a good stay. Now the big ball dropper out of all these changes is that I now have a dog, a cute little puppy. Oh man, I did not plan on getting a dog. I have a cat. For those who know me, I have my one cat, Victoria, and she is my pride and joy. Yes, I am a cat person. I have always been a cat person. I grew up around cats. I grew up around dogs too, but it's always been easier maintaining a cat. It's always been easier having a lifestyle, having a social life and a work life balance with the cat because they're very independent. You know, they take care of themselves for the most part. You don't have to walk them, just show them love when they need it, and they'll shade your ass and be like, okay, I'm good. But I ended up getting a dog. Um, and I absolutely love this little thing. He's a puppy. The great thing about this, I see for myself based off of my history. I mean, I've come so far when it comes to battling certain anxieties and self confidence and just socializing. I'm good at doing it, but there's always still going to be those bumps in the road. And what I found out is that having a dog, let alone a puppy, just opens you up to all these different people. I took him out for a walk, and literally every single person, kids, adults to seniors, everyone stopped to talk to me. Well, probably talk to little Hansel, but everyone stopped. Like I wasn't used to that. I was like, geez, I see a dog. We see a lot of dogs, people walking, especially in the New York area, and I'll say to myself like, oh, they're cute or whatever, and keep it moving. But I guess because I have a puppy, that makes a big difference because everybody, and Dennis, he's an Australian Shepherd, so he's got like the little calico colors, kind of. He's got the one blue eye, the one brown eye. I mean, he was the highlight of that walk. He was getting all the attention, and he was soaking it up from dogs and humans, and I felt like I was being interviewed every single time. But it was a great feeling, and it got me looking forward to the many walks with him, the bond that we're going to build, and also me getting comfortable naturally kind of socializing, ongoing organic socializing with people, and thus leading into relationships building with, you know, different walks of life, and having play dates, and getting to know people more and having more friendships. So that was a great thing. But yeah, new job, new apartment, traveled, goddamn new dog. I mean, it's a lot, y'all. So I hope y'all, like I said, have been doing good. I hope y'all been taking care of what y'all need to take care of. And I don't mean just physical, I mean mental. You know, definitely I've been giving a lot of thought, and I've been saying it the last few episodes, but I'm definitely um, contemplating the route of the show. And as far as like the format and what I really want to talk about, because I'm starting to inch my mindset into a different path aside from just the social media and the current events and the pop culture. I'm really trying to move my presence into a area of helping people, and just I've been doing a lot of self-reflecting while not recording the show, while doing all these transitionings and everything, on how can I be more impactful in such a positive way, especially with just all the crazy shit going on, like just the mass shootings, and just the people who are just so closed off to other human beings, and just all this hate that I just keep seeing. Like, it really does hurt my soul. And the one of the things I just don't feel like doing right now is still jumping into pop culture of people just being stupid, honestly, and just the reporting the news when the news is always filled with fear and just darkness. So I'm trying to figure out where can I really position myself into the spotlight of helping people to, allow people to listen to me, that knowing that it'll give them that motivation, and that it'll inspire them for the day, for the week, with all this crazy shit going on around them. So, just a lot of ups and downs, but I thank you guys for bearing with me. I thank you guys for the support, for sure. All my friends, all the people who listen to the show, who give me feedback, who hound me for episodes. Like, I missed, I was that like a week or two off, coming back, and trust me, I got the I got the shit for it. Like I got the ear full pretty much from my friends and from fans, what's going on with the show. So I thank you guys for bearing with me and sticking, with me through this while I still figure out the placement of everything and then just try to figure my fucking self out, honestly. And one thing is time management for sure. With all these life changes, definitely got to have that balance. Don't commit so much to one thing and thus avoid like a lot of other things in your life. So I want to jump into what's the whiskey friend. I want to talk about something I experienced this past month, like with my new job, even with my new apartment and everything. So one big thing I've been not necessarily battling, but just kind of going back and forth in my mind is the like imposter syndrome. And I've spoken about this to a few close friends of mine, kind of just expressing myself. And for those of you who don't know or aren't familiar with what imposter syndrome is, it's stated as a psychological phenomenon in which people are unable to internalize their accomplishments. So, if I had to describe what imposter syndrome is, it would be a lack, a sort of a lack of confidence, like a lack of, belief in yourself. And based off of your upbringing, based off of your mindset, just based off of where you are now and where you have been. So, with me getting this new job was definitely a blessing. And it's a next level up for sure. It comes with more money, it comes with more responsibility, and I think I'm at a place now where I know I'm more than capable of doing that. I'm more than capable of doing this job because I was doing it without the title anyway. I think that because of my mental health challenges in the past that I've dealt with, it still lingers a little bit and it's a little imprinted on my personality and on my belief that I'm not as good as what I think I should be. So, in the hype of it, in the hype of me applying and me interviewing, I talk a big talk and everything. But then when it's time to get the ball rolling and I'm actually in the job, there's certain triggers that can make a person or make myself feel that a fraud pretty much. Like I don't think I belong here. I don't think I'm doing it right. I feel like, people will find out about me and find out that I'm not who I say I am or I'm not who I present myself to be. And that's imposter syndrome. It's where we don't really celebrate our achievements enough and we feel a lack of ourselves that we don't deserve this. And I'm not necessarily dealing with it. It's definitely lingered though with this new transition and this new work life that I'm getting accustomed to. So, I did some research. I wanted to look more into it because imposter syndrome is there. It comes with its side effects and it comes with definitely some traits that can be harmful to a person, such as high anxiety, such as depression, and lack of motivation to do things. So I wanted to see if my listeners that are familiar with imposter syndrome are they able to identify if they are a person that may be dealing with the certain trait. Like, are you living your life subconsciously or consciously feeling as though you have imposter syndrome? So I found a website article from themuse.com that goes over 5 different types of imposter syndrome and 5 ways to battle each one. So I won't go into detail of each one because it can be a lengthy article, but I definitely want to cover the 5 different traits, and I want you guys and gals to see if you kind of identify with it because maybe there are certain patterns that you are not aware of that we can become aware of, and moving forward, try to tweak those patterns into something that's more healthy for your lifestyle. So the first one that the article lists is the perfectionist. And we've heard this before. I think I've classified myself as a perfectionist. Some people do it proudly because I think it can be misguided as, perfectionist being looked at as a good thing. Sometimes it can, but there are just enough negative traits to being a perfectionist as well. And I know that off the bat, even before this article, because trying to perfect something when, it kind of makes me think, well, what does perfection look like? What does perfection look like in the real world? What is it defined as? Because I feel like perfection is viewed in so many different ways by anyone. Like one thing could be perfect to someone and it could be imperfect to another. I just think, me personally, there's imperfect, like imperfections everywhere, and we should embrace that more. One of the tattoos I actually have on my leg is extremely blessed and perfectly imperfect. And I got that when I realized that I was chasing this idea of perfection, through life, through trying to, be one with the crowd, be the popular one, dress like this, look like that, take pictures like this, be presented like that. I tried to really be perfect and what I thought was perfect. And I soon realized that it was just this mirage I was going to continue chasing, that I was never going to reach. So I had to embrace my imperfections and actually love my flaws to kind of, in a way, see myself as perfect, like perfect the way I am type thing. So perfectionism and imposter syndrome can often go hand in hand. So, perfectionists will set very high expectations and high goals for themselves. And when they fail to reach a goal, they can experience like self doubt and, worry about measuring up. So, you can see how this can be definitely be related to imposter syndrome. You want to ask yourself these questions. Have you ever been accused of being a micromanager? Do you have great difficulty delegating? Even when you're able to do so, do you feel frustrated and disappointed in the results? When you miss the mark on something, it could be an insanely high mark. Do you accuse yourself of not being cut out for the job? Do you ruminate on it for days? Do you feel like your work must be 100% perfect, 100% all the time? Ask yourself those questions, because I see a lot of I tend to see a lot of perfectionists in the world, including myself sometimes, when you want things to just be pristine and perfect, but sometimes you have to kind of take a step back. And the kind of work that I do that involves a lot of hands-on activities, I have to remind myself to, remember to walk away from it. Don't always circle back around this one project looking for things to tweak. Just, set on something that is good, because I don't want to say just settle, but you definitely want to set on something that you can have the capability of walking away from it and, dusting your hands off and jump into the next project. So, yeah, ask yourself those questions. The second one we have is the superwoman or superman. And this is people who experience this phenomenon are convinced they're phonies amongst real deal colleagues. They often push themselves to work harder and harder to measure up. I've known people like this. I've definitely shown these type of traits as well in past, jobs and past projects and everything. So you want to ask yourself these questions. Do you stay later at the office than the rest of your team, even past the point that you've completed the day's necessary work? Now let me tell you something. It's a tricky one, because I get you want to be committed. I get it. But I think I reached a point in my life where I'm like, hell no. And just for the fact that I can't slave myself to work. And I was just having this conversation with a few coworkers the other day on how, I've come to a point in my life where I'm giving you 8 hours most throughout the day, I'll say. Within those 8 hours, you're gonna get 1,000% of me. You're gonna get 1,000%. I'm gonna be zipping and zagging all over the place. I'm gonna be lifting shit. I'm gonna be working here, working there. I'm gonna be sweating and everything. But I have learned through a lot of different wake up calls that my time, my time is everything to me. I have to go. I have a life outside of this. And it's okay every now and then, such as me being out of town this week for a big project, to stay a little bit later. And, by a little bit, I mean like maybe an hour and a half. But you got to be conscious of your time, because one of the realest things, the realizations I've seen over the past year was this my last manager at my last job who committed to his job. He was there for such a long time and he loved his job. Mind you, he was also salary. So being exempt and just being so committed, he slaved himself. He didn't eat. He was a person that did not eat. He just drank coffee. He smoked cigarettes. Apparently, he said eating made him tired, which I get, but I don't agree with not eating at all during work hours. He would eat when he gets home. So, there have been like a lot of incidents. We would have big projects, big visits. He would get a hotel. He would be working at the hotel, doing something creative, be it cutting something, arts and crafts. And because he couldn't manage, I want to say two bad apples on his team, he got let go. Yeah, he got let go. Like it, and I wouldn't even say it was bad apples. It was just his lack of delegation because he was a perfectionist. He was also the person that likes to do things by himself. He didn't have trust in his team. And after being here for so long and slaving for so long, he got let go. He got fired. So it kind of made me realize that a company, especially a big business, will cut you in a heartbeat. God forbid you could drop dead tomorrow. They will find somebody to replace you like that. So you always got to keep that in mind of making sure your energy is good, making sure your health is good, and not slaving to your job. You want to commit, especially if you're passionate about it. But remember, we spend so much of our time at work. You need to make time for other activities. Need to make time for, socializing and being um, with other people and, other experiences aside from work. So just the man, and the superwoman trait is really a big one for me because I see so much of it, and I try to always tell myself, don't be that person. You know, stand your ground and have a boundary, and definitely be able to walk away for the day and be like, okay, I'll stop this project. I'm not going to be able to finish this today, but I'm also not going to spend my time working on this all night then. I'm just going to walk away from it, pick it up first thing tomorrow morning, do some shit like that. So, also ask yourself, do you get stressed when you're not working and find downtime completely wasteful? Have you left your hobbies and passions fall by the wayside, sacrificed to work? Do you feel like you haven't truly earned your title, despite numerous degrees and achievements, so you feel pressed to work harder and longer than those around you to prove your worth? Think about that because that's a that's a very common one. I mean, especially in like such a driven, ambitious city like New York. Everybody's always working nonstop, from day in to day out, from sundown to sunup. So definitely contemplate that. The next one we have, the natural genius. You know, people with this competence type believe they need to be a natural genius. They judge their competence based on ease and speed as opposed to their efforts. In other words, if they take a long time to master something, they feel shamed. So, especially if you're dealing with a group of employees and you have a team, I want to say I kind of experienced it a little bit when I started my new role, but at the same time, I snapped myself out of it real quick because I was slightly measuring myself up to employees that have been there longer, obviously, and I'm starting a role completely new, even though the skill and the work ethic is kind of the same of my, experiences. I caught myself like, oh, I should be learning this quicker. Why don't I know this? But I really had to, sit myself down mentally and say, yo, it's new. Like, this is training. This is all a part of training. You're going to get it. And, I like to say I pick up things fast. So maybe that kind of came into play of why I felt a little bit of shame that I wasn't learning it quick because I do pick up things fast. But, sometimes you got to just pat yourself on the back, pull yourself down and be like, look, just chill. You're getting it. You're gonna get it. It's gonna take some time. Everybody learns at different levels and different speeds. So ask yourself these questions. Are you used to excelling without much effort? Do you have a track record of getting straight A's or gold stars in everything you do? Were you told frequently as a child that you were the smart one in your family or peer group? Do you dislike the idea of having a mentor because you can handle things on your own? When you're faced with a setback, Does your confidence tumble because not performing well provokes a feeling of shame? Do you often avoid challenges because it's so uncomfortable to try something you're not great at? It could be, you know, a lot of people's upbringing being highlighted as this perfect child, or a lot of just expectation on the child growing up, that when you do get older, you become this person that where you put the high expectation on yourself, and if you don't meet those expectations, then you start to fall behind mentally, and you start to kind of get in that funk of, like, depression and shame, and just um, lack of happiness overall, pretty much. Number four, the soloist. Man, I relate to this. I definitely related to this in my past work. Just it definitely hits home. So, sufferers who feel as though asking for help reveals their phoniness. So, it's okay to be independent, but not to the extent that you refuse assistance so that you can prove your worth. Man, I've dealt with this. I definitely am familiar with this one. I've always been the one, and I remember telling a lot of people, masking it as it was something to be proud of, or was it something that I was actually covering up? Who knows? I mean, I would always tell people and gloat like, no, this is what I'm categorized as. I'm categorized as the independent worker. Like, I like working by myself, but it's not necessarily a good thing all the time. You have to have that balance of being able to work by yourself, obviously, but um, if it's getting to a point where you feel like you can maintain everything without ever asking for help, I realized that in my career that I need help, and it doesn't make me feel any less worthy and capable of doing my job. It kind of shows a sense of what's the word I could say, like maturity, professional success, because you're able, what you're doing is you're maximizing your time. It shows a sense of leadership too, because you're taking your time and you're delegating it to other people. So by, you're working smarter, not harder, in a sense, I guess I should say. You're bringing people on board to help you achieve the one goal, be it, business profit, be it completing a project, or whatever it may be. But instead of you tackling it by yourself, taking on the hardship of everything, the stress, you doing the creative thing by yourself, all alone, the late hours and everything, you're able to kind of bring that down some by the hours when you bring on help and when you ask for help. And you're also able to bring in other influences and other creative ways of thinking and other ideas, which I really love doing. I love bringing in other people's way of thinking to see how they view this, especially in the visual world, a design world. I'm constantly like, what do you think about this? What would you change? What is your feedback? So you want to ask yourself these questions. Do you firmly feel that you need to accomplish things on your own? In quotes, I don't need anyone's help. Does that sound like you? Do you frame requests in terms of requirements of the project rather than your needs as a person? Think about that, y'all. Think about it. The last one to wrap this up is the expert. Experts measure their competence based on what and how much they know or can do. Believing they will never know enough, they fear being exposed as inexperienced or unknowledgeable. So you want to ask yourself these questions. Do you shy away from applying to a job posting unless you meet every single educational requirement? I've dealt with that before. I've actually had people, hand me my ass for being so hard on, like, okay, I qualify, I can do everything on this application except maybe the educational part, or maybe one or two. And my friends have handed me my ass saying, like, look, that's something you can learn, but I shouldn't let it get too far in the way to the point where I don't even apply at all. I don't even take a chance. So, does that sound like you? Are you constantly seeking out trainings or certifications because you think you need to improve your skills in order to succeed? Now, that one's a little gray, because I don't think there's anything wrong with seeking out trainings or certifications because you think you need to improve your skills in order to succeed. I think that kind of that goes back and forth because it's okay to seek out trainings, seek out certifications because you want to improve your skills. I do that constantly. I've gotten certifications on Adobe Creative Suites. I'm constantly watching training videos because you never want to stop learning. But I guess what they're kind of trying to present is, without that, do you feel unsuccessful without those things? Like, do you feel like you need that hard piece of paper, such as a degree, or you need to see it written in stone to feel worthy enough versus the knowledge that you just have mentally in your head? So maybe that's what it's implying, but definitely, I think it's good to seek out trainings and definitely complete classes and courses and constant, keep learning, keep growing, because that helps further your success. Even if you've been in your role for some time, excuse me, man, that's Chipotle. You can relate to feeling like you still don't know enough. Hmm. I felt that way before too. I have. I can't think of anything specific for this one, but I've definitely felt that way before, and that just kind of doubles back into the seeking out training and certifications. Like when it comes to my leadership skills, I may feel like, okay, maybe I'm lacking in this area, so I'll go and watch some TED Talks, read some books, or take some courses on leadership or socializing or whatever. So yeah, I can kind of relate to that. Lastly, do you shudder when someone says you're an expert? So definitely something to think about. There's a lot that goes into imposter syndrome, but I definitely wanted to just cover these five traits that were listed and kind of gone over. So it's definitely like introduce a lot of self-reflection and what I'm doing now, and to be more conscious and to take it easy on myself, and to always just be proud of who you are and the hard work that you commit to, and congratulate yourself. Where we can always congratulate and give other people props and everything, be it they graduate, have a baby, get a new job, but yeah, maybe we need to kind of turn it on us and do ourselves the justice more. Talk to yourself in the mirror in the morning. You sexy ass bitch, or you sexy ass nigga. Do some shit like that. Like hype yourself up and know that you're worth it, and don't doubt yourself. Because everything happens for a reason. You got the new job for a reason. You're making this change for a reason. You're bettering yourself, and don't forget that. Like, I mean, remember who the fuck you are. I just remember who the fuck you are. So that wraps up What's the Whiskey Friend? I want to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to jump into Keeping It Real. All right, and we are back, and we got Keeping It Real. So, make it real quick. Keeping it real. I'm kind of double back on what I just mentioned and What's the Whiskey Friend? And I'm going to ask the question, have you treated yourself lately? So this goes back to, hyping yourself up, celebrating your accomplishments. When's the last time you treated yourself? You know, I got a soju spa gift card or entry card for my birthday last year. My birthday's in December. And I have yet to use that because I've been so busy with just life, I guess, and the lack thereof, and too much in one area such as work, and not enough in another area. Maybe too much procrastination, maybe too much laziness. But I have had this gift card, and Soju Spa is a very nice spa, and it's sad because my last apartment that I lived at, I live literally right next door to it. I could see it from my balcony. So on my balcony every day as I have this gift card, I'm out on my balcony watching other people in their robes taking pictures because I guess you see either the city on one side and the other side you see the George Washington Bridge. So I'm seeing all these people on these nice days at the spa, and here I am with the gift card. Have never been, and it just opened up. I think it's like a year old maybe. Um, and I'm right there. I'm like 100 feet away. So this goes into, back to the question, have you treated yourself lately? We work so hard doing so much, like accomplishing our goals, being there for our family and friends. Just when's the last time you took care of yourself? When's the last time you unplugged for a weekend and you treated yourself, be it a mani pedi, be it a spa day, be it a just getting your favorite ice cream, just I don't know anything. What makes you happy? But yeah, when's the last time you treated yourself? We need to remember that we get this one life. You don't want to spend it. You don't want to spend most of your life just slave into work hours. You get that day off, and I'm big on just, I see for me, I feel like I'm always moving, I'm always standing. My job requires being on my feet all day, lifting up and down. And I'm not going to say I'm overweight or anything, but damn, like when it comes to the weekend, I'm tired as fuck. Like, I just want to nap. I just want to unplug and maybe watch TV and order my sushi and drink some wine. And there's nothing wrong with that because to me, that's treating myself. That's treating myself. I get sushi every Friday evening. I treat myself to sushi because it's my favorite meal. It's my favorite thing, of course. But I treat myself every Friday to sushi. And I make myself a nice drink and I'll probably have some wine. And then if depending on how the week went, I may get dessert. I may get my chocolate chip cookie, ice cream. But we have to remember, we can't always commit to everything exterior, be it our friends and our job and just everyone else before we commit to ourselves. So even if it's an hour, even if it's a $5 shake, or you've been healthy and you want to have a slice of pizza, you want to treat yourself. You want to make sure you treat yourself because not treating yourself will cause mental health issues. Obviously, it'll cause you to feel like you're not getting the most out of life. You're not being appreciated, and it'll give you this perception that life is hard because all you're doing is going to work and paying bills. So you make sure you treat yourself. Y'all, y'all, make sure y'all treat yourselves, whatever it is. And if you don't know what it is, then you better start thinking. If if you don't eat candy, get candy. You know, you can go out. I know some people that they treat themselves every day. Also, do it in moderation. Stop fucking shit up, and then talk about I'm just treating myself. No, you should not be shopping every day, spending your baby pamper money on clothes. No, don't do that. But yeah, make sure y'all treat yourself. Make sure y'all love yourself. So that's all I got for keeping it real. I'm gonna wrap this up with me versus the media. Oh, y'all thought I wasn't gonna do me versus the media? I still got a whole list of things I want to go over. I'm gonna talk about the mental health stuff and doing better in life, but I'm still gonna rip a few assholes on shit that I don't like on social media. So, one thing I want to cover for me versus the media this week is people who get on social media and let's say it's a blog site or I don't know article or whatever, and they post, you know, let's see, what name can I throw out? Okay, Iggy Azalea. Let's say they throw out Iggy Azalea. Oh, Iggy Azalea is response to this or response to that. I'm coming for the people in the comments that have the nerve to say, "Who is she?" or "Who is he?" And I see this a lot with people, aside from Iggy Azalea, I've seen it with like iconic people. And I'm not gonna, well, I didn't want to place it on a generation thing, but sometimes it comes from the younger crowd that have the audacity to be like, oh, who is she? Well, first of all, you're on your phone. Look it the fuck up. Like, you got Google and stuff. You that lazy that you need people to tell you, or are you doing it for clout? Let's let's be real. Because, why comment in a comment section asking who is she, who is he, when you'll get a quicker answer by just Googling that person's name and then you'll find your answer. So I really feel like a lot of people do that for clout, but the shit's annoying. Like, because sometimes y'all cross the line and you're disrespectful. I can't remember exactly who the artists were, but I've seen it in the past where it was legends. It was legends, people I grew up listening to, and you have these little minions in the comments having the nerve to type, "Who is she?" or "Who is he?" Like, no, don't do that. Don't be disrespectful, or your ass is gonna get a whooping. Like, so cut that shit out. It's not cute. It's not cute. And if you grown, shame on you. Like, I see it coming from just a younger crowd, like 18, 19 year olds. But if you're in your late 20s and 30s, that shit ain't cute. So you need to reevaluate your life, and you need to talk to yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what the hell are you doing with your life right now? But all fun and games, y'all. No disrespect, but no, cut that shit out. I don't like it. So that's it. That wraps up Me versus the Media. That wraps up the show. Episode 35. I did it. I brought my shit with me. I brought my laptop, my headphones. I was like, I gotta commit. I need to get this show back on the road, and I need to, figure out how to time manage everything, how to just get, everything placed and set in stone. So, feels good to be recording this. And like I said, thank you guys. I appreciate the support, the love that I'm constantly getting. Um, Definitely check out what is the social media, which is Twitter and Instagram at Whiskey and We. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can definitely email me. I love feedback, so whiskeyandwe at gmail.com. And if you haven't already, definitely go to the podcast on iTunes or podbean.com and like, subscribe, rate, and definitely comment. Like, I love hearing the voices of others and what they think, and how they view things. So very, very much appreciate it. I hope you guys all have a wonderful week, enjoying these last few weeks. I think school started already, like in New Orleans. Damn, where'd the summer go? Hmm. I start school too. I'm still, yeah, still finishing up some classes. So, anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful week, have a wonderful weekend, and I will see y'all next week.